A very good evening and welcome to Try Time KE with me, your host Mohamed Abubakar. It's been an action-packed week of rugby. Looking back at the weekend, of course, Kenya Cup action, we'll be talking about that. And of course, this coming weekend, a lot to talk about as well. The Enterprise Cup first round of matches will be played. And of course, the Sydney Sevens, Shujaa picking up 7 points in Hamilton. And Jacob Oje, the captain, has said they're aiming for the main cup quarters this time round this weekend. Will they manage? That is our question of the day today. Let us know what you think about the upcoming Sydney Sevens and how you think Shujaas will perform. The hashtag is TryTimeKE. Social media handles will be appearing at the bottom of your screen. Now, before we start talking matters rugby for the next 28-30 minutes, I'd like to introduce Benjamin Ayimba, of which we'll be discussing with, and William Juguna, who is filling in for Lavin today. It's good to have you back on set.
Thank you very much.
I mean, we've been talking football with you and now rugby.
Yes.
He's a Mr. Know-all.
It's Mr. Know-all. It's good to have you on set. William.
Thank you very much.
We'd like to start off with the Kenya Cup Match Day 8, some of the actions that were played across the country. We'll talk about the first two games that were live and free on Bamba Sport. Of course, the first one of the day on Saturday, that is. Nondies beating Mean Machine by 17 points to 3. Your reactions, William, to that scoreline and the match as well?
Very scrappy game from what I saw. I thought Nondies should have actually gotten a bonus point. They didn't start very well in the first half. As you've said, even like on this set, when I watch Lavin and Benjamin, Machine don't play a very conventional kind of game. They're very unconventional, and I think Nondies got sucked into, that game in the first half.
In the first half, huh?
So they were playing the Machine game, and I think Willis must have given them, a rocket, at halftime. He must have read the riot act, because the way they were playing was not the way Nondies are used to. So second half, I think they stepped up the ante. They played much better. You could see the forwards were combining very well with the backs, and they were able to get those 2 tries. They were going for the bonus point much later. But it was a much improved display from Nondies. I think the previous week they had lost to Cabras by 41 points to 5. But a very scrappy game, not really a lot of handling errors, mistakes from both sides, but I think Nondies will be happy with the 4 points they got in the game.
Yeah, I think they walked in with a very casual mood. They thought it was going to be easy, and initially when they took the field and went for the second scrum, I think they realized, wow, this is not a very easy team. I think that must have thrown them off. So as Juguna says, I think at halftime, Ojal must have given them a whipping.
Yeah, because in the second half they were different, the way they approached the game.
Yes. They were more clinical and a little more structured and stuff like that. So
Queens faced Mean Machine the previous weekend.
Yes.
What was difference? What was the difference
they were
this
poor.
time?
Machine were poor on the day.
On the day.
And I don't think they were any better this last weekend.
But then again, they went ahead 3 points. What do you think has been lacking with Mean Machine this season throughout?
Structure. They don't have structure.
Round 8.
They're helter-skelter. You can't see any building. Any building towards scoring a try. It's opportunistic.
Yes.
So if the position doesn't make a mistake, then they
suffer.
Yeah, they suffer.
I'll take you back to the game we aired live, I think in December, when they were playing Strathmore.
Strathmore, yeah.
There was, was it a penalty kick at goal? It bounced off the post, and the Machine get distracted quickest and he scored a try. That's how Machine play. Rarely see any structure, as Benja is saying. It's very helter-skelter. You make a mistake, they punish. While most of the other teams, you watch Queens, Impala, Cabra, it's very structured. They're moving phase by phase, and then gaps open and they score a try. Machine, I don't think they can survive playing that kind of rugby. Maybe it might work against Strathmore Leos, and maybe I think Menengai Oilers. But to meet a well-rounded team, it will be a very long day in the office for them.
Yeah, guys just want to starve you off the ball. So that's what you did, starve them off the ball. I think by and large, I think Nondies did that quite well as well. Keep the ball away from them, make very few mistakes, and they won't be able to
How important was this win for Nondies, William?
I think from looking at the log and looking at the Kenya Cup is panning out, by the way, I think for me the top 3 is secured. I think Cabras, KCB, and Queens are set. I don't think that top 3 position will change. Maybe position 3 and 2 could change, but I'm looking at number 4, 5, and 6. That's where now there's going to be a very, very big because when you have Nondies, you have Homeboys, and you have Impala. And there are only 2 slots available, so 3 can go into 2. So one of them will have to drop out. So it's a key win for Nondies, and we're at the halfway stage of the season, and with still 8 more games to go. you never know. They could make it, they may not make it, because I tend to think Nondis don't have depth. When you look at Queens, KCB and Cabras, there is depth.
Yeah.
I mean, they can change that team, interchange, and bring in guys from the bench who can play. But for Nondis, it's very much the starting 15, which is very strong. I don't think they've got players who can come off the bench and change a game for them.
So if they're on their game on that day, they'll get the points. If not, I mean, not much in terms of tactically that you can change.
Yeah,
they
are being thin on the bench is really worrying. Ought to be worrying to them.
Yeah.
Because as Njuguna says, there is all these other top teams that have got massive depth. They can swap the bench for the starting 15, and they'll just do as well. And you know, when they grind, and remember what I was telling you about the grind. This is the time for the grind.
Yes.
When you got people who can grind and grind and grind, and then get another lot of guys who can grind again, and I don't think Nondis are mature enough to get to that point. But they've done well.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
They've done well.
Nondis are coming from a very poor last 3, 4, 5 years, by the way.
Yes.
They've done well, by the way. And
So
them
this
getting
season
to the
has been-
playoffs will be good for them, by the way. It will show at least they've made progress.
The growth, yes.
Progress.
Yeah.
All right. Let's have a listen to what the coaches had to say after that game, and then come back and talk more. 80 minutes up, 17-3. What did you make of the game?
The game has been good, but we've have lapses in the game. Actually, I think that we have made us. And into contact skills, we are not that more. And also of the racking, we are so slow on the racking that I think the Nondis have picked up from us.
You started scoring the points, but then again, the margin is not too big. Why do you think the tries were hard to come by?
The tries came by because the boys dipped a little bit. They were actually up on the game, but on the fair play, actually it has made them to dip down.
Right now, you're not in a good place at the table. What are the plans now, these remaining few rounds, to make sure you avoid that relegation?
A few plans just for us to work more harder and to execute our plans, our gameplay, for us to be on the particular table point.
All right, all the best, coach. Thank you so much. Cheers. How does it feel?
It's all right. We'll take the win. It's 4 points. We were hoping for 5, but we'll take the 4 for now. It's better than nothing.
They started scoring the points, but then you took your time, came back into the game, took the lead before half-time, and then in the second half hit them with the tries. What was that team talk? How did that team talk go at half-time?
Again, to be honest, we just tried to. We keep deviating, moving away from our plays. If you notice, the first half we started playing a bit more like them and forgetting that we had a plan of our own. So that's all we said. In the second half, let's stick to what we've trained. We've not been training with them. We've been training with the 23 guys in the white shirts. So let's play like the 23 guys in the white shirts.
At the very end, you are chasing for that 4th try to get that bonus point. At this point, how important is each point to make sure you get that playoff spot?
You see, at the end of the game, you'll obviously ask what did the other teams do, how did the other teams do, and you want to be sure that you have the 5, so that if someone has 4, you're able to take over that spot. Because, like I said, between number 4 and 7 and 8, it's just 1, 2, 3 points in between. So all the points matter at this particular stage. Yeah.
Are you looking over your shoulders? All right, we'll be running today, sprinting, because we have so much to talk about. Very quickly, your reactions from what you've heard from the coaches. Do you think Mean Machine can avoid the drop, and do you think Nondis can make the playoffs?
I think Machine will have to win those games. I said, I think earlier before the season, I think in our conversations, there is a mini league there at the bottom. Them, Oilers, Strathmore, Black Blood. So if they can win those games against those teams, whatever, they can avoid the drop. For Nondis, yes, they've got a very good chance of making it to the playoffs. Because when I'm looking at the form of Homeboys and Impala, their form is very dodgy, it's very iffy. So yes, I mean, whatever, they can make it. But the longer the season goes, it's a grind, and they really have to. I don't know if they can sign players, which is highly unlikely. But I think they'll have to get a much better bench to finish off games and to win matches against the big sides. Yes.
Benjamin, very quickly.
Yes, there are 3 competitions in Kenya Cup now.
Yeah.
There is the top, where you have the 1, 2, 3, then the mid-table, you have the 3 on the bottom. So the bottom are trying not to get relegated, the mid are trying to get to the playoffs, and the top are trying to beat each other to show who's king at the end of the day. So it's
and who will host the...
And that is why the competition is very tight. But as Njuguna says, Machine, for them to survive, they've got to beat those teams.
Those teams
and
are
all those other teams also looking to claim their spot. So it's going to be difficult in that way. Nondis could easily get to the playoffs as well.
All right. Very quickly, second game. of that day, live entry on Bamba Sport, the Ngong Road Derby. Queens taking this one 37-24 away. I mean, on the road. I mean, it's just
Benjamin must be smiling all the way, man.
Yeah.
I think we should even have started with that game as the first one.
I've been itching for that game. I wish we could discuss it last. I have so much to say.
I mean, this game,
Yes.
the first half, one of the
Yes.
most one-sided Ngong Road derbies I've seen. I mean,
Yes,
maybe
yes.
I've not seen so many. But
No, this was
very
by far one of the
Yeah.
one-sided ones. Yes.
Benjamin, you're on the sideline as well.
Yes.
Charles was not there.
Yes.
What do you make
think
of that first half performance?
For us, having looked at how Impala played last week and the week before that, it was very obvious they start badly. They don't have cool heads, so a little bit of disruption. So we take them on heavy in the scrum. They're going to back lane. In fact, five scrums were reset, and unfortunately the referee didn't call anything against them. And we only reset once against us, and the referee blew the whistle. And the place was going to go up on fire. But the trick was to put them under so much pressure they weren't going to be able to recover from that. And luckily for us, that worked.
William?
Wow, it was. I was.
I mean, you're in the commentary box,
and it was one of the most lopsided derbies I've ever seen. I mean, I was even telling Kwambo that even when FC are playing Gor, FC at least will show up and give it a fight. Impala just didn't show up. I mean, like in the first half, and it also, I think for me, it also boils down to the leadership of Impala, by the way, because by the time it gets to 20 minutes, you should be asking yourself, man, something here is going wrong. Can we do something?
It's
different?
lacking majorly.
Yeah, it's lacking majorly because it was a mismatch. You could see the mismatches out wide in midfield. Impala even didn't even get into the Queens 22. I think. I mean, like that first half, it was so one-sided. Ambaka was running right on one wing. Keke was running right on the other wing.
Yeah.
You've got Eden Aguero, who was, I mean, really having a
just
ball.
opening up the
He was
midfield.
opening up the midfield. He was looking for mismatches. He was giving cut-out passes to anyone who was willing to run. Line was coming in also at fly half. So it was really controlled chaos by Queens. And by the time you're up 17, 20, 27 points in a game, I always tell people, this is not sevens. I mean, the 15th game is a grind. By the time you start building faces, it takes a while, by the way. And I thought Queens just had an excellent game plan in the first half. It's like Impala didn't know what had hit them. It's like they were rabbits looking at deer lights, by the way. They just think
They're
things are just
expecting a
coming.
slow start and then
Yeah.
to come up slowly. No, we didn't want to build against that.
Yeah.
Our aim was to grind them so much because we realized that when the ground, the midfield opens up really easily. So that was basically our game plan going into that game. So our rucks were furious, our scrums were big and major, so that really wore them down.
The intensity which Queens brought, I mean, their forwards, you look at guys like Paul Kioko, Herman Humwa, they were just rampant. There was so much aggro they were carrying into contact. They are getting over the advantage line. And once you do that, by the way, as a forward and as a team, you're just playing on the front foot. You're always now trying to look now for mismatches, for gaps out wide, and it really worked for Queens like in the first half.
All right, it's funny how I usually say we managed to talk to the coaches, have a listen to what they had to say. This time round, I managed to talk to him after the game, and this is what he had to say, and of course his counterpart. We also managed to talk to William Barker, who was making his return in the team after a while, a long absence. So we'll be playing all those clips very quickly and then react to them.
Frank, how do you make... Actually, it's more of a game of two halves if you look at it. But overall assessment of your boys' performance today?
What we did the second half is what we should have done in the first half. Queens dominated the first half totally, and they got the points to win the game.
What do you think did not happen in that first half? Because 27-0 is a very huge margin, and you did come back strong in the second half. What did you tell them at half-time?
We were slow off the blocks. Our defense was a bit loose. Our set pieces were from hell, so we just fixed our tight play a bit, worked on our defense, and put them under pressure.
This is 4 losses now on the trot for Impala. Are you worried now in terms of the places for the playoff spots?
As long as we don't lose again, we'll be in business. Yeah.
So what are the plans now going forward? Because you need to change this quick.
Yes. We need Oilers. One thing we need to get is get the team in. Such games can make or break you. So some positive points we'll pick from this game. We've learned the hard way, and we'll pick from that.
All All right, all the best, coach. What do you make of the game, first of all?
Super game. I think we took the game early to Impala. They were able to live with our scrum, and we capitalized on that in the first half.
How important was it to have that huge margin? Because clearly this has been a game of two halves. The second half, Impala came stronger, but that margin was safe for you.
Yes, with a W, you expect anything. So when you have the chokehold on your opponent, you make sure that you don't release it. And that for us, that was the case. So as many points as you could in the first half, and try and keep the pressure on in the second half. Of course, they came up with better resilience, and getting two of our boys out at the crucial moment did not help us much.
Well, I mean, it's always good to play for your home club, and I started here, and it's always good to wear the Queen's shirts, and coming back after 2 months rest and getting the W. I think that's an awesome feeling. Personally, I feel there's a lot I need to work on, because especially my fitness. I'm coming off a 2-month break, and but in general, I feel like the boys did a massive job, and they kept driving me, and I kept working off them, and I think they did a massive job. And credits to the forwards. I think they did especially the first half. I think they did a good job.
All right, now I won't ask Benjamin to react to his interview. But we'll start off with William,
yes.
And then, of course, we'll talk about William Back as well. Yes. William?
Well, you heard it from the Impala coach. They just didn't fire a shot like in the first half, by the way. And there's no way you're going to win a rugby game when you don't show up in the first, especially a derby game. Normally, derby games are very close, they're very tight, but this one was clearly won in the first half, and I thought maybe Queens were able just to go slow like in the second half. They did score a try, by the way, and of course we had a situation whereby I think they were reduced to 13 men at one point, and Impala were able to score 2 tries. But Queens were by far the much better side, and it's an indication of the two teams' season so far. You can tell that Queens are going in a very strong trajectory, while Impala seem to be heading in the opposite direction. Yeah.
Benjamin.
Yeah, it's funny how the Impala coach says they would have played like they've played in the second half. In the second half, they played less men.
So you got in there. Against 13 men.
Yeah, against 13 at some point it was 14, then 13 for the longest time.
And I could see you were very animated in the last minutes.
Yes,
you were telling the boys to keep playing.
Yes, they should have. I thought, and we did quite well. I think we scored our 7 points when there was 13 of us, when there was 14 of us. So that was a commendable job from the boys. It's just we can't afford to get that discipline out of the way to lose.
Mbaka back in the side.
Super inclusion. Of course, he doesn't need any introduction. Of course, he needs to get a little fitter. Lucky for us is the players he was playing with are people he's played with in the past. So the chemistry was up to speed. So getting him a little fitter. And a few more games on his belt, and we're sure will be very good for the championship.
All right, let's brush through the other results of match day 8. Now, the one we want to talk about here is Homeboys losing to Strathmore by 22-14. Now, first win for Strathmore Leos.
Well, it was a shock result of the weekend.
Long time coming
alongside the Queen's drubbing of Impala, by the way. No one saw it coming. Even I thought that
it's going to be a tight affair.
Homeboys were going to win this game comfortably. But hats off to John Bayu and his team, and getting the first win against a good side like Homeboys. And it also now keeps them off. I don't know where the position is in the log.
We'll have a look at the log in a bit.
It's good for them. And I think Homeboys also have to go to back to the drawing board, because when we saw them in Nakuru playing against Nakuru, yes, they won 1918, but some of their play wasn't very good. The execution in attack, I thought, against Nakuru in the first half, they should have scored more points in the first half for me. So they're a bit iffy, they're a bit, a flaky side for me right now. I don't know, maybe they're missing the influence of Pau, who is with the 7th team, but there's a lot of work to be done in Homeboys if they're really to make it to the playoffs come the end of the season.
The transition is getting very difficult, and that's because I think they've known Pau for the longest time. He's been their coach for the last 9 years now. So I think that is missing. But Simon is picking up his troops, and of course there's quite a number of players that aren't available for him to select. So having said that, I think it's not the Homeboys that we're used to. And that shock defeat was definitely a testament to that. And Strathmore, of course, were looking for a scalp. Anybody they met at this point, they were always going to be dangerous. I think now that they've smelled blood, they're going to go very hard at the next games that they got to play.
Very
Ours
quickly,
included.
I'd like to, and yours included. Very quickly, let me read the other results before we move on and take a look at what those results mean for the table. KCB beating Nakuru 49-6. Black Blood losing to Oilers 24-13, and of course Cabras beating Mwamba 46-15. Thank God Lavin is not here.
Yes.
today.
I think he has kept in good time.
Yes, he has kept in good time. All right, very quick look at the table, what those results mean for the Kenya Cup standings after 8 matches played in the Kenya Cup this season. We have Cabras, of course, KCB and Harlequins in 1, 2, 3. You say that's not going to change, but we have that space there between 4th and 6th where it's going to be fought for by these 4 or 5 teams. Nakuru,
Actually, it is all the way to 7th.
All the way to 7th.
Yes, because you look at the Saracens, they're 20 points.
Yeah.
Then there's 21, 22, 23. Those are 1 point between each team.
Them and yeah, exactly.
And
So
it's only a bonus point win for Impala again to jump if the other teams lose. So it's very fluid up there. Yeah.
all right, at the bottom, Black Blood, Menengai Oilers 9th, Black Blood 10th, Strathmore Leos 11th, and of course Min Machine 12th at the bottom of that table. You guys see any changes in the next few rounds, maybe?
Yeah, I think there'll be changes there. There will be changes.
Definitely, yes.
Oilers with the second win. Blackbird also not a very easy team to play with. They're quite dangerous. The Leos already have their first win, so they'll be really buoyed. I'm worried for Min Machine. With that unstructured play of theirs, feeding off scraps, not really
and the points,
intense rugby, and the points also they have, they're far off. They really have their work to do in the second half.
I think the chairman is to blame for talking badly.
For talking badly before anything
the middle of the season, before anything started. So they should be going for his neck. I think he sends too many guys on the table.
Spoke too soon.
Yes, spoke too soon. All right, let's shift our attention from the Kenya Cup and, of course, take a look at the Enterprise Cup this coming weekend. The first round of games, the fixtures will be up on your screens right now. Queens will be in action against Ngong. We have Kisumu facing South Coast Pirates, Mombasa against Moi University. We have Menengai Oilers who will be facing Catholic Monks, Strathmore against JKUAT, Min Machine against MMUST, and of course Kisii, RFC facing University of Egerton, and Eldoret. Western Bulls against Egerton Wasps. So many teams, man.
Yeah, so many, and Harlequins is the odd one out there.
Harlequins is the odd one out here.
Yes.
Now the pre-quarters, after this first round, of course, we have the teams that finished in good position in the last time out, that is, last year. Homeboys, Impala, KCB, Cabras, Nakuru, Mwamba, Nondis, and Black Blood. Of course, you guys wished you'd have been in this bracket.
No. We're actually happy because then we've got another 80 minutes to expose some of those players that we want to test against some of these teams that are sleeping around now. So you see, and gives us a good fixture. It is Homeboys afterwards. Hopefully they play a little better, but if not, then that is some lunch for us as well. So
not much to talk about in the first round. People usually wait to the pre-quarters. And
the big guns are waiting in the next round. So as Benja said, it's a good test. I was even going to ask him which team of Queens will play. I don't expect to see the likes of Misango and Humwa and the big boys.
You'll definitely see the guys who've not been starting because we're not going to make the team any weaker. It's just the bench is now going to be probably starting. As opposed to the starting.
Good opportunity for these other teams, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember, this a knockout tournament. You lose, you go home.
Exactly.
So it's key for teams also to bring their A game on Saturday and progress to the next round and meet the big boys. So it should be, a good weekend, a good Saturday of good rugby.
All right. We don't have a lot of time remaining and we'd like to go to the Kenya Sevens. But before I do that, Lavin Asego has tweeted us.
Has he?
Yes. He says he's tuned in all the way from Addis Ababa.
Yes.
Enjoying the show, but my half-court is still better than Williams.
The battle of half-courts is on.
Yeah, trust Lavin to say that, but I'm not surprised.
Mine are still at the tailors, so I won't show up until in another 2 weeks.
And he goes on to say good win for Queens and they deserve to dance in the Impala Bar.
Oh, we did dance and made trouble for Impala. I tell you, I'm an Impala boy, and I remember when we beat Queens. There's once we beat Queens, and we made a mess of the clubhouse. I don't think they've ever forgotten that. It was just I was just happy I was on the other side of the.
There's some serious competition with this half-court thing, Benjamin.
Yes. No, I must come to the party, and with nice ties as well, just like you, man.
All right, we've received your tweet, Lavid. I hope you're well wherever you are, and thanks for tuning in. Of course, and our apologies for that loss against Cabras.
Yeah, that he escaped to review.
He escaped. Very quickly, Kenya Sevens, our question of the day also was, do you think they can make the cup quarters at, or rather in Sydney? We have Sylvester Mutio saying the team under Murunga is still young and promising. Please, let's give them time to gel. We'd like to delve into this conversation with the Kenya Sevens, your reactions to how they performed in Hamilton and what to expect in Sydney, William.
Super performance of them in Hamilton. The game I was fearing the most was against Tonga, because you win that game against Tonga, you get 5 points. That was our margin. We're looking at 5 to 8 points, by the way.
Yeah.
So when they go ahead and beat Argentina, I'm like, wow. I didn't see that coming at all, by the way.
Yes.
Of course, they lost to England, which was okay. I mean, it's
in a final.
An England team which should have been playing in the main cup quarters is actually playing like in the Challenge Trophy.
Yeah.
Good for them. I mean, exceptional performances from Olindi, Onyala, Tabu,
yes.
Jacob Oje.
Yeah.
These are a good team.
From Brian
and
Wadera
there's
as
nothing
well,
to fear.
good ball
Also,
carrier.
Brian Wadera also, I mean, played very well. These are a good team. And you see, I mean, I like what you guys said last week. The South Africans and the Scottish were like, they're trying to look for me, for maybe Injera, Amonde. They're not there.
Yeah.
So they're seeing new faces and they're like, okay, these kids can play.
Yes.
So let them play. I don't want to put so much pressure on them for Sydney. If they can get like another 7 or 8 points.
Even if they did 5.
Yeah, even if they did 5.
Honestly, that would be good enough, really.
Good job for them, by the way. Yeah, they're building pole, so let them build nicely, so that maybe by the time we go to Vegas and maybe Vancouver, maybe we can start talking about quarterfinal.
Stuff, yes.
A quick look at the standings, first of all, before we look at the fixtures in Sydney. In the Sevens series, we'll have it up on your screens right now, but an improvement. I mean,
We are
in terms
10th
of
now.
points
That is a massive performance. We're all the way from 14th.
Yeah.
And beating clearing scouts like France, for example, Argentina. Tonga, I almost expected it, but Argentina and France, those are very difficult teams to play, especially with the lack of experience that we have in this team. And that just shows you that they really, really want to get to the top. And for me, I'm quite chuffed at what they've done, and I know Paul is quite happy with this. And having gone to the 10th spot after the third tournament, that's pretty decent.
11 points right now, racked up in total.
Yes.
The teams on top of them, not too far away. I mean, it's reachable.
Yeah, it's reachable. I mean, definitely. These boys are hungry and they want to perform for the nation, and it's not too far off. They can go places and they can actually even move above. France, for me, are not a very serious side. I mean, right now, if France are being beaten by rookies, it shows that we're on the right path. The opening game against Canada could be a little bit tricky, by the way. The Canadians are a very physical side. They're a good side, but hats off to Pau and his team. They've done a very good job.
I think we've got the chance to leap up another two positions by the 5th, 6th tournament.
Yeah,
it's been steady. They're scoring tries. They're enjoying themselves, and you can see the game is actually very faceted. They're going for the racks. They're trying to fight for the opposition's racks. They're running the ball well. We've got some of the best plays in the series last weekend as Kenyan. So it's a good thing going for them. I think it's very exciting to watch them.
Pool B, Sydney Sevens, Canada, Kenya, France, USA. Is that a friendly group?
Very
favorable. Very favorable, by the way. I mean, they can do stuff there. I always tell people, the Sevens game, your first game is the most important game, because if you're not switched on, you will be hammered properly. So if Canada are thinking that this will be an easy game for them, they'll be in for a root shock, because they don't know any of those boys there, by the way.
They don't
know. They don't know any of those
They
boys.
don't know.
I know that they're gaining confidence by the day.
And out of the 3 first legs,
Yes.
any players that have really caught your eye and you expect that they'll continue?
Yes, the 3 that we mentioned, Olindi, Tabu and Onyala. Those are the pillars of the team. Then OJ is doing a very good role in captainship. And then I think Wandera is also a very good pillar that they have there. And then the rest of the guys just merge and create the aura in the team that wants to win. So for me, we've got the core that needs to just improve on how they control the game and how they rally the team behind them to get them to where they need to be. But it is a very promising side.
For Paul, anything you think he can add to this game, William?
I don't know if he can add anything
well.
to the team. I think he should just stick with the players that he has and the ones who are training, because we already know what's going on with the senior players who seem to be very happy playing in Kenya Cup. You should have seen how Mbaka was playing in Kenya Cup. Kolo is playing for Mwamba. Uleche is playing for Impala. Let him stick with those young guns. Those young guns want to make a name for themselves. To play against the best teams in the world. So I think he should just stick with those guys. I don't know what he can add, but from me, looking from the outside, I think that team is okay. It's set, and they're on the way to great stuff in the future.
Achievable targets for this leg. How many points do you see us being able to
Let's just stick with what we got in Hamilton. If we get to the quarters, that's a bonus for us. Massive bonus, by the way. Massive bonus. Yes.
If and when we get to the bonus, to the quarterfinals in this tournament, I assure you that this team is going to finish top 10, definitely. End of season, yes.
Because it's again it's still early. Fourth
it's still
leg,
pretty
and
early.
if you can
the fourth leg, there's six more tournaments to go outside Sydney, and we can already see the zeal. You can already see that they want to go at it. And usually the problem we had in the past is that when you get new players in, they will not exert themselves. This lot, and in the rookie year, you find Olindi, Onyala and Tabu playing so well. It's only happened in my lifetime twice.
Yeah.
When Dennis Wanja joined the team in 2002 during Commonwealth Games, and when Collins Injera joined the team in 2008. If beyond that, we've never had those rookies that just come to change.
It normally takes time. It normally takes to your second year or third year before now we start now seeing your potential and your growth now into the team.
All right, now putting all the politics aside, let's say, between Kerio and the senior players, I'd like us to look at this in a different perspective. You think if you look at this team, you're already seeing a new crop of Kenya 7 players?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's showing already. They're taking, and if you looked at Jacob Oje's try from the 22, I think it was run from all the way from the back of 5 meters, all the way, and it blitzed everyone around there. And for me, and then Wandera was boshing guys around. That kind of spirit is what we've lacked in the younger players. But these guys have realized there's nowhere to look. There's no senior guy to look at to do the job. So they've got to do the job. And they're doing it so well. I'm really happy about. It's very exciting to watch them play.
William, you feel the same?
Absolutely, yes. These young players, you see, when you have that leadership on the pitch and when you trust your instinct, you become a better player, because the coaches can't give you everything. They just give you a basic blueprint on how to play the game, but now it's up to you now to execute. So when young players now, even I was also very encouraged by Andrew Vate of Oilers. He's going into contact, he's bashing guys, by the way. Just, it's good to think on your own 2 feet, even as a player. What do I need to do, by the way? Because I've got no one now to rely upon, by the way. So when you do that, you're able now to grow as a player. And maybe at the end of the game now you can review and say, okay, maybe I did this thing wrongly, I did this thing wrongly. But it's good when you take the initiative as a player. And from what you have seen with these young players, I think that for me the sky is the limit for them. They're going places, and they will do much better, because remember, this is only their first year. So you can imagine 2 or 3 years down the line, that tournament. So where they will be in the future.
All right, like Sylvester Mutio said, I read his comment earlier. Young team, let's give them time to grow and gel and see where we can head. All right, you can also be part of the conversation. The hashtag is TryTimeKE. Social media handles have been appearing at the bottom of your screen. Let us know what you think about the Kenya Sevens national team, how they've been performing so far, and what to expect in Sydney this coming weekend. Now, gentlemen time, unfortunately, is not on our side.
We've barely started.
We've barely started. We are speaking with the bosses to make sure we get more time. So hopefully we can get into 45 minutes and an hour in the future as well. Because rugby, you can never talk rugby in 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30 minutes.
So much you can. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for the fantastic analysis. William as well,
thank you very
fantastic.
much.
Thank you so much. Let's meet again on Wednesday next week, same time right here. Until then, keep it sporty.